We are a week in and some change, and by change, I literally mean less than a week and 24 hours away from the NFL draft officially being underway, which means it's time to do a little bit of prospect ranking. We've done the pro days, we've done the combine, we've done the interviews, we've gone through the rumor mill multiple times over. We've heard the medicals, we've heard literally we already know who's going number one, all but 99.9% sure. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the top 10 prospects. We're going to each give our top 10 players, regardless of position, not saying where they'll get drafted. Doesn't matter. Positional value kind of out the window. Just top 10 players in this draft. I'm going to go first. I'm going to go from 10 to 1. Then Kelcey's going to give you his 10 to 1 right afterwards. I'm going to start at number 10, where I'm going to light the world on fire. Gray Zabel, offensive lineman from North Dakota. I think he might be, he's not quite the best offensive lineman. I think because of the North Dakota-ness, he's overlooked a little bit. But I think when you look at the draft board, there is a lot of guys that are kind of in the same pool. Like if you gave them Madden ratings, they'd be like between 84 and 88. They'd all be in that same clump. I think he's one of those 89, 90 first round grade, quote unquote, type of guys. I think he's going to be awesome. He's going to slip to the back end in the 20s, I think. Someone like the Ravens or the Bills or the Chiefs is going to get him, and he's going to be awesome, and everyone's going to be pissed about it in like 3 weeks into the season. I think Gray Zabel's awesome, an awesome offensive lineman with some versatility to play inside and out. So Gray Zabel at number 10. And number 9, a similar one too. I had him when we first did it. I'm going with Jedi Barron, the corner out of Texas. Small, a little undersized. The exact opposite of what we said about Travis Hunter is he's going to have to play in the nickel. I think that's where he's going to be his most effective. Maybe even Brian Branch-esque, where you put him as a safety nickel hybrid. In like your base defense, he stays at safety, and then he rolls down to nickel. Instead of bringing another corner, you bring in another safety. Willing tackler, great ball skills, very athletic, very, very smart from everything they've said too. All of the draft rumors, etc. Granted, no one says anyone's dumb, but you know what I mean. His football, his on the field IQ is very much lauded by teammates, coaches, anonymous, etc. So we're gonna go Jedi Barron at number 9. Number 8, we're very similar name but different. We're going with Jahad Campbell out of Alabama, linebacker that can rush the passer, that can play in space, that is freakishly athletic. He reminds me a lot of Devin White, but a little bit less of a kamikaze. I think his ability to do so many things. He's an off-ball linebacker who would probably be drafted in the top 15 if he was just converted 100% to edge rusher. Yeah. He is that good at rush. I'm not going to say Micah Parsons-esque, but I think there's a lot of similarities in that skill set. He's an off-ball linebacker by position, quote-unquote, so I think he might potentially slip to the teens, maybe early 20s. He's just a really good player. He's a first-round graded guy. He is you build your defense around him type of feel. I feel like he's going to be a future Pro Bowler. Just his versatility. He could be like a 5-sack, 5 forced fumble, 5 interception a season type of player with just the versatility he brings. Maybe even 10 sacks if someone really wants to use him that way. There's just a lot you could do with him. In a lot of the mock draft Mondays I've done, I've put him on the Buccaneers, where he is literally replacing Devin White and paired up with Levante David. Who better to learn from than Levante David, and just menacing to all those involved. And I'm sorry, NFC South, I keep doing that to you. Number 7, I am once again going to set the world on fire. We're going with a tight end, but it's not Tyler Warren. It is Colston Loveland out of Michigan. He is so...
I knew he was going to slide in there.
He is so... The more I look at him, the more I kind of look into his game, he gets better with... He's like fine wine. Every time I watch it, it gets better. He's so smooth in and out of his breaks. He could play... He's lined him up. We talk about Tyler Warren's versatility, rightfully so. Colston Loveland can do a lot of the same things. Outside, inside, H-back, inline, slot. And we know Michigan's never been known as a passing offense, even when they were 15-0. J.J. McCarthy had a game where he threw 0 passes in 20 consecutive plays because they could just run the ball. Jim Harbaugh's going to run the you-know-what out of it. So yeah. Colston Loveland is a willing enough blocker. No, not calling him George Kittle. He's not Rob Gronkowski. He's not single-handedly clearing out a defensive end. He's got a lot of Sam Laporta in him, is how I feel. He could do so many things, and he's a willing enough blocker. He's good enough. He's not a cone. He's not. You can't split him out. He's not like 36-year-old Travis Kelce, where you're avoiding him in those goal line situations, if you will, where they're not taking him off the field. And yes, I specifically said 36-year-old Travis Kelce, because we know in his heyday they weren't doing the same thing. But I love Colston Loveland. I think if it wasn't for Brock Bowers and Tyler Warren in the last 2 years, I think he'd be one of the better prospects in recent years, going back to even Kyle Pitts coming out, which granted that hasn't worked out. But I think he is that good. He's unfortunately sandwiched between the Brock Bowers and the Tyler Warren right now. It's like, gosh, the unfortunate comparisons he's stuck with. Yeah. Number 6, offensive lineman Will Campbell. I'm going to keep it short and simple. I don't give a you-know-what about his arm length concerns. If that is actually a problem at tackle, he will be an elite guard. If that is not a problem at tackle, he's going to be an awesome tackle. Patriots, don't overthink it. Number 5, Mason Graham. Defensive tackle is really good this year. A lot of versatile guys, a lot of them. I think Mason Graham's the best run defender of the group as far as just taking up space and saying, good luck, you shall not pass. Pass rusher, he's good. I think there's some room to improve there. He's just a very, very safe thing you want from a big defensive tackle to plug up the middle. I think he can play the 3, the eye, a little bit of the nose if you need, maybe not a full-on plug, but I think he could do a lot of things in the middle. Number 4, Tyler Warren. Everything I said about Colson Loveland, just a touch less smooth. That's pretty much all I got for it, but a little bit more versatile, and just he does everything so well, and a tick faster by like 0.02. Ashton Jeanty, number 3, a very good running back class. Ashton Jeanty, do I need to say much more? I mean, it's Ashton Jeanty. Moving on. Number 2, Travis Hunter. We just spent 20 minutes talking about Travis Hunter. That's going to lead me into number 1, Abdul Carter. A slight edge because he also has a little versatility playing off ball and pass rusher. He's going to be drafted as a pass rusher to get after the quarterback. He got 12 sacks and like 18 tackles for loss or something ridiculous last year. He played it banged up. I know there's that quote unquote concern about the injury, but he's going to be good to go by all accounts. It sounds like he could do so many things for you on the defensive line and off ball. I like Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. They're 1A, 1B, but I'm going to give the nod to Abdul Carter. So I'll recap my top 10 prospects list really quick. Number 10, Gray Zabel out of North Dakota. Number 9, Jedi Barron out of Texas. Number 8, Jahad Campbell out of Alabama. 7, Colston Loveland out of Michigan. 6, Will Campbell out of LSU, Number 5, Mason Graham out of Michigan. Number 4, Tyler Warren out of Penn State. Number 3, Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State. Number 2, Travis Hunter out of Colorado. And Abdul Carter, number 1, out of Penn State.
Yeah, so I'm going to surprise no one when I say our top 5 isn't terribly different. We have the same players, different order. But our bottom 5.
Top 5s are like it's almost unanimous at this point.
Yeah, our bottom 5 are completely different. Yeah, I do need to say Will Campbell was a 10B for me, and I just need to say that because I just had to push him out because there's one guy that's in this process has really stood out to me and really taken that 10 role. That's Darius Alexander from Toledo, the defensive tackle from Toledo. Strong, big, can explode upfield, rush the passer at the same time. He's a fantastic defensive tackle and a guy that you look at as like, this is surprising. Now, I think a lot of teams are going to look at him as like, man, maybe a back into the first round, beginning second round type of thing. Defensive tackle is obviously never really a big position in the first 20 picks, but there's always 2 or 3. And I think he could be one of those 2 or 3 that sneaks in and then lasts for forever. So yeah, Darius Alexander, defensive tackle, number 10. I think he slides in there for me. And sticking with that same theme of the same conference, well, similar conference, I'm going Mike Green. I talked about this when we first did our draft top 10 board. I think he's one of the most talented edge rushers, slightly undersized, long arms, athletic, rushes the edge like nobody's business. Probably looks the most like Myles Garrett rushing the edge or Von Miller rushing the edge without being Myles Garrett or Von Miller. I'm never going to say he's that right now. He is very much a project at the next level, but he is so raw and talented that he can come in and give you 5 sacks in the first NFL season. And that's if he's by himself. If you put him on the Lions or the Browns or another one of these teams where you have a bookend edge rusher on the other side, this guy can be a sneaky pick for getting 10 sacks in his rookie season. And it's impressive what he's able to do. And on top of that, you can drop him into coverage. You can disguise blitzes and drop him into a flat, into a hook zone. Something where he doesn't have to run deep downfield, but he still has to like cover a little bit of zone. He can do that. But don't ask him to go try to run with a running back 40 yards downfield. Don't do that. That's a problem. But he's going to be out there for pass rushing, but he defends the run just as well. I think he's an underrated piece out of Marshall. Always somebody to look at. Now, number 8, I'm going finally to a big conference, but it's not a team from a big conference most people would expect. I'm going with Armand Membo from Mizzou. Offensive tackle. He's fantastic at setting the edge. The run game, if anybody's watched any Mizzou in the last 2 years, is fantastic for Mizzou. What they're able to do on the ground doesn't make sense considering they're one of the lower tier SEC teams, but they're able to run over anybody at any point in time, no matter how good that team is. And they do it in the West or in the East. It doesn't matter. They just do it on both sides of the SEC, and they dominated, and Armand Membo was part of that. He was the wall. He's the pulling tackle. He also ran a 4.91 for 332 pounder. That's insane. So ask this guy to go out and do a little quick pull and get to the corner, and game over for that corner. I'm sorry, you're going to get knocked out. And obviously tackles don't do a lot of pulling in the NFL, but there's always those random quick pitches and things like that they can slide out and the tight end slides down. But it's an opportunity for Membo to kind of come in and make an impact. I don't see him as a left tackle. He's definitely a right tackle type of guy. But he could work his way into being a left tackle depending on the team. Maybe if you have like a Lamar Jackson, slide him to left tackle so Lamar can roll left. But yeah, he's my number 8. He's had a great pre-draft series as well, working his way up there. Number 7, I'm going to go a little further north into the Big Ten. I'm going with Josh Simmons. If you guys remember my top 10 earlier this year, I surprised everybody by not having Will Campbell and having Josh Simmons above him. Keeping that same thing. Big, fast, quick, dominant for a national championship team. How does he not get there? He has literally got 2 running backs in the top 50 of everybody's big board right now. And his quarterback was a conversational piece for a top 3 quarterback going into this draft process. Obviously, his combine performance dropped Will Howard out of this. But a big part of that is what Josh Simmons was able to do blocking in front of him. He's able to spring both running backs, any one of these receivers on an end around. He's able to hold that and create a wall, set the edge, and defend, whether it be in the pass or the rush side of things. He's a fantastic fantastic blocker, defender of a quarterback. Josh Simmons off the tackle. It's going to be impressive to see what he's able to do at the next level. Number 6 is a guy I'm actually surprised I didn't hear on your list, and you were high on him before, and I'm still high on this guy. And you thought you were making a shock with our last board when you put him up here. I'm keeping him up here, and that's number 6, Will Johnson from Michigan. He moved up a spot in my board from last. Yeah. So corner from Michigan, he's my best corner in this draft, easily best secondary player in this draft. I think he's going to be a guy that makes an impact immediately at the next level. He's going to be a guy that you look at as like, year 2, we're not throwing at this guy ever. Year 1, halfway through it, we're never throwing at this guy anymore. It's going to be impressive to see what he's able to do at the next level. I think his footwork still needs a little bit of cleaning up, but that's every corner getting into the NFL is that way. Not every corner can be Travis Hunter and play both sides and have clean footwork. But Will Johnson might be the closest thing in this draft to that. Now, number 5, Ashton Jeanty, Boise State running back. Don't think I need to say any more. I just don't know how running back precedence comes into the NFL. It's backwards. Everybody loves running backs, but they don't want to draft them. They don't want to pay them. So that's why I don't have him higher. I think he's one of the best talents, but not going to be drafted as high. That's why he's a little bit lower. Number 4, Tyler Warren, Penn State, bad end. Moving on, jack of all trades. Number 3, I went with your number 1, Abdul Carter, Penn State, edge. I think these top 3, you're picking and choosing based on your own preference. So number 2, Mason Graham, Michigan defensive tackle, best defensive tackle in the game, or going into this draft this year. You can split hairs and call him the best defensive lineman. I'm not going to do that because I think Abdul Carter has talents that Mason Graham maybe doesn't. But I think Mason Graham is just a dominant force inside and needs to be looked at for a long time as that guy. And he also does both sides, both pass and rush. You're not going to lose him on third down to a pass situation. You're going to have him out there the whole time. And that's something for defensive linemen, defensive tackles especially, you need, especially if they run a three defensive tackle system. You're going to be sitting on top of a guard, potentially on the shoulder of a tackle and the shoulder of a guard. That sounds like a great rush opportunity for a defensive tackle, personally. And number 1, the guy we just spent 25 plus minutes talking about and wondering whether he can play safety at all. Travis Hunter, hands down, most athletic player in this draft, probably the highest IQ in this draft as far as like football IQ. Nothing against Tyler Warren, nothing against any of the other guys there. But to play 2 positions and play them exceptionally well, you got to be pretty dang smart. Give me Travis Hunter, number 1 overall prospect for me on my board.
Absolutely. I dig it. I like the respect to the offensive lineman, like kind of in the same way like Will Johnson was like my 10B, and then like there's a 10C, and like there's just guys that.
My 11 through 15 is nothing but offensive linemen.
I feel like outside of that top 5, everyone could be clumped in a very similar category. You can see the difference in just our list, and none of them it's like, how dare you? No pearl clutching whatsoever. But I think That's what's going to make this draft incredibly fun. I mean, like you mentioned, Mike Green, I could see him going top 10, and I could see him falling right into the Eagles' lap, just like Nolan Smith did a few years ago, and everywhere in between.
My biggest concern is seeing somebody like Will Johnson, Mike Green, or Darius Alexander ending up on the Eagles. That's my biggest concern from anybody's, like any team's perspective. Depending, now that's if I don't become an Eagles fan. Maybe if I become an Eagles fan, I'll love that opportunity.